Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. You know the drill. We're back at it again with the r/entitledpeople Reddit stories. So let's just jump into it, shall we? Mother-in-law was sneaking in our house, and now she's trying to get her house back. Hello. So I will try to make this short if possible. I'm a bit confused as to how I should continue this relationship. First of all, I'm male. My wife is 50-50 split between having her head deep in her mother's butt and not wanting to have anything to do with her. It's complicated. My relationship to Mill was always awkward. She didn't want her precious daughter to leave home and build up her own family. So she always tried to shackle my wife as near to her as possible and used every possible trick up her sleeve to achieve exactly that. From fake illness to emotional stirrups to last-second unnoticed vacations we had to come with, and my wife not once, until now, grasped that what her mother was doing was wrong. So, around 6 months ago, Mill and Phil bought a new house, a smaller one, as they didn't need all that space at their old home. At first, I personally wasn't interested in that house, but somehow, my Mill convinced my wife to convince me to buy the house from them, so we can buy cheap and live with one less worry. I was completely against the purchase of that house. It was incredibly near to the new home, 30-minute walking distance, and the amount they asked for, $450K, was not justified for the state the house was in. Long story short, my wife got extremely upset with me not wanting the house, and I just gave up and said yes. So yay! We own a house now. For info, we got the keys, documents, everything is on paper. Nothing is in their name anymore. It's all on us now. And for the past few months of us moving in, renovating a bit here and there, all seemed well. They never came to visit. We always visited them, and the house was fine after some work. But I noticed a few things. Whenever we're gone for more than 8+ hours or a few days and then return to the house, it seems like someone was inside. I could have sworn some of my stuff was moved. A few times it smelled like gas, as if I left something in the kitchen running, and the sink in one of the bathrooms was wet. Even so, I always wipe it dry after using. Even my wife found it odd, and after the gas incident, she was alarmed. So I figured, Mill probably has a key still in her possession that we don't know of, and she snoops around. I bought 2 cheap cameras and installed them so I could see the entrance and the living room, as those two are connected. Plus, I changed out the locks by buying completely new secure doors, as well as new window security, as all of those were old. 2 days after everything was changed, I got a text from Mill saying that I'm an evil person trying to destroy everything she loves, and that she wants the house back from us, as she isn't tolerating how we're treating her old property. I asked her where this came from all of a sudden, and her answer was, "You're destroying our old home. The door was a precious memento, and we shouldn't have changed it without asking her first." I told her that the house was no longer hers, and we could do whatever we wanted. Didn't hear back from her until now. She now wants her house back because we're apparently not fit to be homeowners. She's giving us back 430 of the 450K, as they already spent 20K and want everything back. I told her to go eat grass and that the home is now ours. I already had the police at my door. Can you imagine what it looked like for me to explain to them that this house was legally mine? They fucking laughed. And the worst, my wife says to just get the old door back in. I don't get my Mill. That I'm okay with. But I don't get how my wife can be so deep in her bullshit. If it were up to me, I would go no contact and leave it at that. But my wife is just glued to her. I can't even enjoy marriage anymore. It doesn't feel like her and I. It feels like her, I, and her bad mother. Phil is alright, just a normal person. Most of the time fed up with Mill's bullshit too, but he can't be bothered to actually hold her back. I'm stressed. angry, and really disappointed. Advice, please? Update. So a lot has happened since yesterday. I stopped answering most comments as I was just taking in everyone's advice. First, some info again. Some people were concerned that dropping off the door would mean she could copy the keys. Not possible, as both the door and locks were replaced with high security keys. I know a locksmith could duplicate them, but that would take some time. Some were worried about birth control. Don't worry, I can't even think of sex right now. Concerning security, no, I did not catch Mil on the camera. I installed them in conjunction with the change of the door and locks, and I don't see the point in spending money on more cameras. Some asked if Mil had more children. Nope, single child. I paid the entire $450K. My wife didn't pay for the house, renovations, nothing. She bounces from one job to another, trying to find something fitting. This has always been the case, and I don't mind supporting her, but I do feel a bit leeched off sometimes. Now to the actual update. I called Phil and asked him if he would meet me for a coffee and that I wanted to talk. Bless him, he did exactly that. We sat down, and I asked him to please just listen and not interrupt. I must have talked for close to 2 hours. This man just sipped his coffee, listened, sighed, and said the following in short. Mil's plan was to sell us the house, rebuy it, making us literally homeless, so we couldn't say no to her offer so that we would live with her and Phil. Phil did try to hold Mil back, but failed. He was extremely upset about the police call, upset about only offering $430K back, and upset in general that she's going this far, just to shackle her daughter. His offer and advice: take Mil's $430K offer, I will set up a legally binding contract under Phil and myself, and he will give me the $20K plus what I put in renovations, etc. without Mil knowing. That would bring me close to $500K. He told me to pack it up and just leave after a stern talk with my wife. She won't wake up if it's me versus Mil, as long as one of us is in close proximity. He looked sad and upset. We hugged at the end, and he told me not to be too saddened by all of this. And sometimes we need to make hard decisions, and I would regret it if I didn't do this. There was more talk, obviously, but this is the short and interesting part. Back home, I talked with my wife in a calm tone and manner. She didn't see no evil from her mother. Said her mother just needs a lot of attention and love, like most elderly ladies. And oftentimes, she sounds meaner than she actually is. But that she only just wants the best for us? Us? No. What's best for her, and only her own intentions. We argued a bit back and forth, and my wife is 100% behind her mother, and said I should get some therapy to get out of the obsession I have with demonizing her mother. I stood up and left, slept at a friend's that night. I offered couples and individual counseling. It was denied. Apparently, I'm the only one that needs special attention, as she called it. And I guess that's exactly what I need. Special attention. By myself. For myself. I already messaged Phil. It's not worth it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking the time and helping out and listening to someone you don't know. I might take this homeless opportunity and money to get out a bit, explore, and breathe freely for once. Edit. Yes, I did tell my wife about Mil's plan. She denied it and said I was so deep in my coop of demonizing her mother that I was the one needing therapy. We have a pretty tight-knit prenup where it specifies that no assets or property is going to be split unless children are involved. She gets what's hers and what she owns, which isn't a lot. I know this sounds asshole-ish, but this house, as an example, is now completely mine. I paid everything. She didn't even contribute a cent. It's all on paper that this is all on me. So, as long as no children or pregnancy are involved, everyone keeps what's theirs. Also note, we do not live in the US, so laws, etc. will be different. I'm not abandoning the house. The homeless part was for when everything is over. As of right now, I'm in the house, alone. Trust me, I'm not going to let this go by easy. And after reading all the comments, I'm already skeptical of Phil too. I've got some ideas up my sleeve. I will get my money back, and the house is not going to be sold back to them. A good friend friend of mine. His wife is an attorney. We're already messaging back and forth, and she's hooking me up with people for everything from lawyers to contracts. Believe me, I wasted enough time, resources, and money. Not again. I went from sad to angry to determined. I will get this done properly. Update: it's been 4 months now since I came here to ask for advice. Well, a lot happened. As you know, Phil offered to repay me behind his wife's back. Well, at first, I thought to just take this offer and move on, but after reading what some of you wrote about how it sounded too good to be true, and why I shouldn't give in, I refused. I don't want this to get too long, so here's what happened in the past 4 months. I kicked my wife out, she's back at her mother's. I still own the house, got all the repairs and changes done, and I've since been renting it out. I gave her her old precious memento door back. Mill got handcuffed and had a nice drive around back in the police car after she tried to assault the new house tenants, as this was her house. Just 2 weeks ago, my ex-wife tried to contact me about how she can't keep living with her mother, but she doesn't have enough income to live on her own. I've been traveling a lot after I got everything sorted out. Been to northern and southern Germany, met tons of nice people, and saw some beautiful remote places. All in all, life after kicking out my then wife has been good. I never realized how shackled my thoughts and actions were while being with her after we moved closer to her parents. I now live in a nice 2.5 room apartment near a small city, enjoy myself, and take everything slowly. Focus on work, myself, and just relaxing for once. You wouldn't believe how happy I am that we never had children together. Good on OP for his spine and following through with all of that. I like this OP. Other than buying his Mills house, which was a very bad play on his part because that is just a recipe for disaster, all of the other things he did, like having a prenup, not having kids with this woman, etc., were 10 out of 10 smart moves. Bullets dodged. Nukes dodged. You go, OP. And you know, even though buying the Mills house was initially a bad move, in the end, it kinda wasn't. It was technically OP's saving grace, the straw that broke the camel's back. It's how his deep in the fog wife finally got some karma, and it set OP free from the drama. One piece of advice I will give though, is that if I were him, I would just rid myself of Mill's old property altogether. Cut all ties to that family, sell that house, and buy a different rental property with the money if that's what he wants to do. I'm glad it all worked out in OP's favor though, and he is now living a seemingly peaceful life. But anyway, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this Entitled People Just No Mail story. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!